Hey everybody, it's Kitty K here again, bringing you a slasher from the 90s. Look at that. I'm ascending from the 80s to the 90s, 1991, and it starts really fucking bad. A movie that gets 4.8, directed by Brian Owens. It, the movie gets a 4, and that's being generous. Actually, we'll give it a 3.5. The, so okay, the creepy part, the things that I liked in this movie were the kills and the killer. The killer is a psychotic, demonic priest with just red eye, with black eyes. He has no white in his eyes, black eyes, bald like me, but more balder and no eyebrows and shit. And he talks like this: "The killing has started. The killing has just started." So like, the killing has just started. You know that creepy voice, creepy voice. Now, um, the problem is the priest is called Malius. Now so they find the story begins. They find him. It's a college, a Catholic college, and there's a fraternity there, and they find in the basement of the fraternity about 7 killed fraternity members, all just dismembered, heads off, uh, arms off, and so on and so on and so on. So I thought, oh, this looks like a good killer. A preacher finds him, and then with the sheriff, and of course he's been taken, right? He gets taken to an asylum, and he's been sitting there for 25 years. Now, the the priest doesn't eat. The priest is just standing there, looking out of the window, knocking his head against the in his prison to the wall. He says, "I stay out of there, man. I stay out of there." The nurse says, I'm." The security guard says, not going in there. I don't want anything to do with that priest. Now, um, it's Hell Night, so the movie's called Happy Hell Night. Hell Night is the moment, as far as I know, with fraternity clubs, that the pledges have to do certain missions. So these two pledges have to go to. That's probably I don't remember their names anymore. It didn't. The movie was nah. The the characters were nah. Characters were not nah. They were just fuck you. So you got two pledges going. One of the pledges is a main character. Okay, a bicyclist, a motorcyclist. They go and sneak in to the inside. Um, their mission is to take a picture of the the demon priest. So there is okay. This insane asylum has one person working there, a woman, a young woman, who is sitting there seeing TV. A guy comes in, one of the patients of that insane asylum, and he says, "I want TV, I want TV." She says, "Sure, you can have TV. Look with me." And then she takes a syringe, a big ass syringe with tranquilizer in it, boom, right in his ass, and then bye bye. And then they take advantage of that, crawl underneath, under the um, just beside the desk, so she doesn't see. But one nurse, that's it, in an entire sane asylum. Now that idiot main character, then I'm saying the biker, let's call him the biker. They see the cell. They open the cell. They have matches. They don't have a flashlight over it. It's dark. It's completely dark. In that hallway, everything is dark. They don't see anything. They don't see it. Don't see it. So okay, the guy says, okay, let's just break in. He opens the gates, but the gates is sealed with a cross. So that's already a big no-no. Don't open that. But he does. Then he takes hedge clippers and breaks another lock. The guy, the scared guy, he goes in. He has the, the photo. He has the camera, and he takes pictures, but he doesn't see anything. But the flash goes on, and that was a cool thing when he's doing. You see with the flash the demon priest coming closer and closer and closer to him, and that was creepy. He eventually loses his hand, and then the biker sees him standing there. He said the killing has begun, and you see him standing there with his hand bleeding out, and he's saying, I'm bleeding out, and when the biker runs away, like a coward he is, he hears his friend being ripped to parts. Okay, so what's gonna happen now is the fraternity is going to be targeted again. They will need at least 6 more kills. He will need at least 6 more kills to please Satan. Okay, so he's going to that fraternity now. So the biker has a dad. He calls his dad. He's a big businessman, but the guy apparently became a big businessman because he also saw uh, Malius walking around before he killed anybody, and he said, "Do you want to sell your soul?" And he says, "Yes, for fame and money." Yes. Then he throws this water over him, and he becomes rich. But then there's a curse on it, because the curse is he's the one who actually created the curse that Malius now can take 7 souls out of the fraternity, whereas that was in. So he hears that that prank was in the insane asylum, so he drives immediately to the college to warn his son, and to get him probably, and maybe help. The priest that found him is too old. He can't even hold a cup right. He's just like a senile old man. So no help there. The sheriff comes along once a time, and he sees like, okay, yeah, everything okay, yeah, okay, bye. So that's it. You don't see him. He was also involved with that massacre. And then you have this big fraternity party, and in that fraternity party, it's weird. It's there, and then it's gone. It's done. Everybody's gone. There's this guy. So you have 2 people. Let's let's call this guy the heartbreaker. Okay, and you have a girl, and let's call her the uh, let's call her the Barbie, right? Okay. So Barbie broke the heartbreaker's heart, and he says, "Now I'm gonna do what I want to do." So he goes in the fraternity house. He sees this girl that he knows from seeing. Hey, didn't notice you here. The girl says, "Now you notice me." And he says, "Yeah, I do. Wanna fuck?" "Yeah, why not?" "Okay." Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And then she says, "Uh, you know my condom policy." She says, "You need a hat for your you need a hat for your German helmet." Okay. Um, she she so he goes to look for a condom, and then eventually she gets killed by the demon priest. He found this ice pick, and I don't know the, the and there's a name. I think Henry Collins, the first man who climbed the ice wall. Ice wall. They're living in a fuck like L.A. Where the fuck are you gonna find an ice wall? It's like an ice pick, right? So the killer used as that ice pick for most of his kills now, but like here and then coming out of the eye, some sort of few cool kills. There's this guy that has cameras all over the house, including the bedrooms, but apparently this is done with the approval of the boyfriends, so they have sex tapes that they can sell. Some women even know, and they're playing around. They're playing. They're, they just playing with it, with with themselves in front of the camera. And then everybody gets killed. Slash 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 slash. The rest of the fraternity people, like there's one girl that's there, and she cuffs herself on the bed, and she asks a guy, "Let's go up and fuck. Let's fuck." And she has, "Let's do something kinky." She goes to upstairs. Guy's like, okay. The guy didn't agree with it, so she just goes to his room, ties herself up, and then the killer comes in. Free play, of course. She can't get it the fuck away, so head comes off. And then you hear that screaming, and then the guy was sitting in a chair reading a book, so he wasn't going upstairs. He didn't agree to have sex with that crazy chick. It was like this goth chick that was from Romania or something. Her accent or not, and then, and they find when the heartbreaker, the biker, and the Barbie gets in, they find that guy dead too. The father arrives. He explains about the curse. Then we get a little flashback, and here's something weird: a millisecond jump scare from another fraternity guy, and you know who that was? Sam Rockwell, a famous actor, an A-grade actor, an A-list actor in this piece of shit. It was just a camera, like, here, oh, done. That was it. Sam Rockwell. He was apparently Henry Collins, the guy. Uh, so the dad gets killed because he's hiding under the bed. And the ice pick is on the bed. So his son takes the ice pick and slams it in, and it was straight to the heart. He sees it's his dad. He's like, oh, 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 the acting. That was, and eventually they find a book that they get from the senile priest, and in that book it says you have to go to the mausoleum of the graveyard, and there you have to do this salt, circle, so it can get to you, and then start chanting the the lines, and then eventually they kill it like that, and it melts away, and then the Barbie girl. It's not offensive. I'm just calling her Barbie girl because she has blonde hair, and I don't know her name. It's because the movie is really bad. It's bad. The acting is bad. The 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 gore were practical effects, so I like that, and the killer looked creepy. But that was the only thing, because the killer in the beginning says these real demonic things, like, and so shall Satan here, like this, But the problem is that, oh, the problem is that he becomes a slapstick guy. Oh, I forgot, the guy who was filming everything, he of course gets killed too. He gets the ice pick right through his eye, and then he has a program called STV, and it's this pervert looking guy with a porn stash and glasses and like a mullet. And the fraternity apparently, does that exist? A fraternity house with mixed, I mean, gender? So women and men in the same fraternity? Aren't those usually, you've got the fraternity with the guys, fraternity with the girls, and that is the brother fraternity, and that's the sister fraternity of the okay, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. And eventually she's lying in the ambulance, and then you see the driver with a hat on. You see it's the demon, and he says, "Will treat will what he said? You'll get well soon." And then he drives away. So was he apparently wasn't dead? He found a cab and he's the driver. So this movie is bad acting. This movie is boring. Even with practical bloody kills, it's still boring. There's no tension at all. The, the 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 moments when he's gonna kill somebody, it's so obvious when he's gonna do that. The soundtrack is bad. And Sam fucking Rockwell sold his soul for. I'm guessing he got half of the budget of the movie for that one, that 1 or 2 second cameo. And then in any case, listen, it's a 4. I'm giving it a 4. It gets a 4.8 on IMDb. It may be worth a watch on your watch on. I give it a watch on own risk. Okay, that's what I'm giving it. It's a risky movie, but hey, you always have the choice. A 4.8 on IMDb means definitely worth watch. My score says watch on your own risk. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Subscribe and see you next time. Bye.